You guys are all familiar with the SpongeBob Red Mist creepypasta, right? It's one about a lost episode of SpongeBob in which Squidward kills himself and is essentially a variation of the pasta of Squidward's death. While the legend itself has been debunked countless times, it is worth nothing that this particular story has a part in based on a true story. In now a deleted animation.com forum post from 2005, a user named Jeb Joker re-encountered his experience of working as an intern for Clace C. Kusupo in the early 2000s, primarily in the interwiener of the show, The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald, during which time he had witnessed a particularly disturbing incident involving a fellow animator. Andrew Skinner was a Scottish artist and animator hired by Klasky Csupo exclusively for the Wacky Adventures episode The Monster o' Ronald McDonald Loch. Is so serving as director and animator due to his Scottish heritage in order to give the episode a genuine Scottish feel. Given that the entire episode takes place in Scotland and is a parody of the tale of the Loch Ness Monster, the episode's production ran smoothly until an employee noticed a strange interference while reviewing the pre-release cut of the cartoon. What first appeared to be a simple static interference, upon closer inspection, was found to be a series of distorted, gory images taken from Orgurish.com and other similar sites. It was later discovered not only a large amount of gory images had been stuck to the episode via single frames, but that some of the background textures have been made up of scrambled edited versions of said images. The production team was furious, and this meant that the episode would have to be delayed to give the animators enough time to fix it up and remove all offending images within. Andrew Skinner would later come forward as the culprit, stating the artistic expression. In his reasoning, he was immediately suspended without pay. The episode provided such obscene images that it was delayed to the point where the in-store promotion was concluded, leading it to only being sold online. And the limited numbers, and under a new episode titled The Legend of the McDonaldland Loch, Jeb Joker suggested while most of the unacceptable content have been removed, some of the remains have slipped through the cracks and made it into an official release. Andrew Skinner's exploits would later become taken into the extreme during the reformative Red Mist story, which falsely claims that it was murderous a member of the SpongeBob production team. The legend of the McDonaldland Loch has proven to become extremely difficult to track down, although at least one copy has been accounted for. In late December of 2014, a member of 4chan's co-board revealed that he was in possession of copy and providing the photos and screenshots to back up his claim. The user stated that with intent to rip a copy of the tape and shared it around online before selling it on eBay. However, within the report period of time, another anonymous user posted in the thread that they were willing to purchase the item for a whooping of $15,000, so long as it was to keep it under the wraps off of the internet. While many have encountered this as a hoax, there are some who believe that Andrew Skinner himself was the one who offered the large sum of his now tarnished work from ever seeing the light of day. The tape owner has since gone quiet, ceasing over to provide any updates on the situation. For several months in a row, it has been theorized that Andrew Skinner has made a good of his offer, and the OP has gone quiet as a result. As of writing this, the tape remains totally unaccounted for, and so does the episode itself. And that, my pretties, was the truth about the legend of McDonaldland Loch. The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald Lost episode creepypasta or something like that, written by Salba. My final thoughts on this story? This is honestly a really well-made Lost episode creepypasta. It's not like your typical Lost episode creepypasta filled with, the VHS tape or DVD and the person inserts it and there's like hyper-realistic blood and hyper-realistic gore. No. There's none of that in this story, which I'm really glad, because most of these pastas seem to be, encountering those. I don't really know what it is, but surprisingly, this story honestly didn't go that far. It honestly just states, it's a lost media part of this concept, which I really thought it was really nice, seeing the whole thing and all. Now, I definitely do like the fact that the grammar of the story is pretty good. I mean, it was readable. The fact that in the beginning it mentions, the SpongeBob creepypasta, Red Mist, and Squidward's, death, or the S word, I'm not going to say it, but most of you guys do know what I'm talking about, was mentioned. I mean, mentioning a creepypasta in a creepypasta doesn't really work in this case. But I mean, this is like an older story, so I can't really exactly pinpoint how old this story is. Like, maybe it might have been written back in 2015 or something. I can't really remember, but this pasta is like a really old one. And it has been theirs, I guess, since before creepypastas became, repetitive, in a sense, if that makes any sense. Mainly lost episode ones. I mean, I actually remember watching the Legend of the McDonaldland Loch episode of The Wacky Adventures of Ronald McDonald, but I haven't watched it in like a long time. I think the last time I might have done that was maybe a while ago. I can't honestly remember. It was still a pretty interesting episode. I'm going to have to rewatch it again. But I definitely got to say it's a pretty interesting concept. Like, I like the concept itself. I thought it was a pretty good storyline. And I really do appreciate the good concept of this story, as well as the good grammar, sentence structuring, storyline, etc., etc. However, mentioning the two creepypastas or whatever in this story, mentioning a creepypasta in a creepypasta doesn't really make your story scary, and it doesn't really work. I mean, I probably mentioned this a couple times, but just in my eyes personally, it just doesn't really work, if it makes any sense. But I mean, most of you guys probably know it doesn't really work in the story. But with that being said, it's still a really awesome story. I still thought it was enjoyable. It's well made in detail, and there's definitely awesome. So I could definitely say right now that this is honestly a pretty good story for what it is. I still thought this was awesome. It's really well made, and I could definitely say that right now. So, I guess with that being the case and that being said, now, I can't really say what else I did or did not like about this story, but I could say if this is like an older story, I don't really know when this was written, but I do know it might have been written sometime. So I guess with that being the case and with that being said, I'm going to sit here and just be honest right now that this is just simply my own personal opinion. And if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions in regards to these creepypastas, and this is just simply my own personal thoughts. So, yeah. With my final rating of the story is going to be a 9.5 out of 10. Mainly because it was a pretty good pasta. It's definitely well made. It's not cliched, which I'm very glad it isn't. It's a pretty awesome story. Definitely well made in detail. And it's a pretty great concept, especially for something that looked like it could be it's a little older. But, yeah. Anyways, with that being the case and that being said, I'm going to sit here and basically say this right now, that this is just simply my own personal opinion, and if you happen to disagree with me, that's fine too. I know I said that earlier, but I thought I'd say this again, in case you guys want to know. This is only my own opinion. If you disagree with me, that's fine too. So anyways, what did you all think about this creepypasta? Did you all enjoy it? Did you all not? Also, what you have done personally to help make this story a lot better? Feel free to leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. I'm the Lion Queen. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. If you're new to my channel, feel free to leave this video a like, comment, and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications when I upload. And as always, please roll the outro, because I'm out.